Okay, today I'm going to be talking about mutagen samples. You'll need these to get the HEMA for your guild, or you can go to a guild that has it, grab the recipe, and go from there. You need 500 per player. I've farmed up more than my share, and I got about 200 more to go to finish it out for the guild. Um, Now, all the best place to find those is going to be over here in the Derelict. I believe there's another planet that can get it, like it's Sedna maybe. No, it was Ares. Now the difference is the mutagen samples here is a rare resources while it's an uncommon in the other one, which means don't go to Ares to farm them. Likewise, one thing that you can do is you can do the Void, or what is it called, Volt quest. Like there's a Volt key that you can equip to your gear. And if you find the key for that, for instance, there's one that reduces health, one that reduces damage, and one that reduces speed. I'm going to go ahead and equip the speed ones. Maybe I'll get lucky and get one of the void relic keys to spawn on my map. Actually, well, let me make sure that one of these, yeah, equip an arcane consequence will give me more movement speed. What you'll get in that Volt is like fleeting expertise and overextend. And you can make your keys in the foundries. I'm not actually going to go through what that looks like. Again, my purpose of this video is to talk about where to farm mutagen samples. So what I'm going to be talking about is these different maps types that you can go through. I don't particularly like the exterminate or capture, but if you're going for the Volt key door, it's not a bad choice. I found that sometimes I wouldn't get any mutagen samples in a run, and I'd get the void thing, and it takes like between 2 and 5 minutes. So I mean, it's like very very fast. Survival runs the issue of you're not going to be with many people, so there's going to be less mobs, and you're typically going to do it solo unless you're with a group, and then you got to deal with the air pockets and move all over the place. Didn't really care for defense in general, and who does sabotage? So my actual choice I go with is mobile defense, and it's going to either give you 2 or 3 points you have to collect. But the important thing that I notice here is anytime during the stage you can just stop and just wait for enemies, and you just whip back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, farming this stuff. And if you have the Kavat pet and it buffs you, you can get double the amount. Or you can just run through the mission. Both are very acceptable ways of getting what you need. I find that the loot containers are a good source, and if you're playing a Nekros, using Despoil will certainly increase your chances. You could run Hydroid with his like tentacle additional loot spawns, but I don't feel that he's anywhere near the potential of Nekros by comparison. I also tried other characters like Korra and Volt, and didn't find that there's any more benefit, as far as speed. The issue is it's not so much about speed; it's about quantity, and the only way to get more quantity is to use Despoil and get the additional rewards. Now I'm using a Skoliak, which deals slash damage, and an interesting thing about that is you can slash an enemy into 2 pieces or more, and each piece can be hit by the Despoil ability. And with that, you're getting 2 or 3 times the loot in that case for a single enemy if you cut them in half. primary, secondary weapons don't really matter too much. I'm just going pretty standard. And the hope is I should get about one mutagen sample for every minute that goes on. So in 60 minutes, I should have 60. But you can get up to like double that with some luck. Not sure what else to say, other than it's just pretty much a big grind. Something that I noticed before is when you finish like this wave right here, the monsters will keep spawning, and there's a possibility that they'll spawn at the next defend point, and they'll get stuck there. So you'll want to make sure that if you're going to do the long grind and sit in one spot for a while, that you do it when you finish the last defend point. There are some special treasure rooms. I would say avoid them if you're planning on farming long. I've gotten stuck in them a few times, so that's kind of annoying that I lost like 30 or 40 because I got like stuck behind a wall. Just a little strange. You definitely want a resource booster going if you plan on farming this, as it's going to double the amount, and it's a very long grind to get anywhere near 500 for yourself, or even where I'm at almost 4,000. It's taking me about 2 weeks, and I've just kind of been like doing it a few hundred a day, and it's probably in some ways burnt me out a little on the game because reward wise it's not that rewarding. I'm just doing it just because, I guess. There's far better things that I could be doing with my time, but I want the MR, and I don't want to change my guild out, so that just seems to be my choice here. So this is like an old trick, probably the oldest trick in the book, is just whip sliding over and over again on a wall, and I don't have to move. The interesting thing that if you're not familiar with Warframe mechanics is if you don't move for 2 minutes, you won't be able to loot things, and it considers you AFK for the most part. So be mindful that you have to move eventually, in order to pick up the loot. I think there's like a 52 loot items can be down on the ground at a single time before the oldest one starts disappearing. So let's see, 46 seconds to go. Should probably show you the skull deck that I'm using when I finish this. It's Maiming Strike, but it's a ribbon with Maiming Strike. I ended up letting a friend borrow mine while he levels up. Maiming Strike being the crit slide bonus, which is an additive bonus on top of your base crit, and it's not affected by crit multipliers, such as crit percentage multipliers. The damage multiplier will take effect. But the important thing here is you easily get to 100% plus crit with the way slide modifiers work right now. I thought they were going to change some things with the way melee is, like melee 3.0. I don't think that's come out yet, but this may be on obsolete by the time you watch this video. So just keep that in mind if Melee 3.0 has come out. But I think slide attack will still be at least this powerful, unless they completely remove it, unless they actually modify, the way the modifiers work. I mean, Maiming Strike gives you 90%, so I don't know. I imagine this will stay a tactic. Just gonna show you this loot room. I usually find like one or two mutagen samples. There's one there. And if you come up here, you can jump through this hole. I'm using, I think it's, what is it? I can't think of what it's called, but it'll change these loot containers to red to green. Figure that'll give me an additional bonus. You can also come out this way to get up there. Probably go over the build, what I have here as far as Nekros. Alright, let's get out of here, see what I got. But like I said, I could just, I actually should just probably do that first. You could just like stick around here and just choose any old location. I've completed the mission and it didn't turn into an exterminate, so things will just continuously spawn. I think it's like maybe 6 or 7 mobs, 8 mobs, I don't know. And you can just farm, indefinitely. But my suggestion would be not to stick around indefinitely and just, to go into all these individual rooms and destroy the containers, and then, when you're completed there, just head on out. But there's one right there. If you do get like a pile of mobs killed in one area, you can leave the loot down and wait until your Kavat pet procs. I did put on the hobble key, but there's the door right there. It was an extinguished dragon key. I won't get the mod for it. But yeah, that's pretty much how I farmed thousands of mutagen samples, and like I said, it took quite a lot of time, quite a bit of effort. So 9 minutes. So I'm gonna scroll down here a second. 9 would be great. I probably got about 18, I think, because I find that that's what I usually get. Oh, I only got 6. Oh, I was a little bit dreamy there. But usually I get more than this, but not today. It's rather disappointing. Could throw up some screenshots later of what I've picked up before on a typical day. So I'm just going to show the Skoliak. I'm using a status and slide crit and ranged so that I can hit things very far with prime reach. I think they're going to nerf reach in 3.0, so that's something to worry about. And since they're changing things, Blood Rush might be affected and Weeping Wounds might be affected with combo multipliers changing. It's really unknown as far as where things will be, the next time I talk about it. And then onto my Nekros build, it's just using fleeting expertise, and I'm using Despoil to consume health instead of mana, and because you're popping all the enemies, a lot of health orbs pop up, and there's any number of configurations you could have. Duration and strength don't matter in this, so you'll see that I am using 280 range, which is just huge radius. And Master's Thief is the thing that allows me to unlock locked containers. I'm just going to look at the ability of my skill. So yeah, 70 meters worth of loot radius, and I'm losing 4 health per enemy. But like I said, it doesn't matter because of all the things that I'm using. Equilibrium wouldn't be a good choice here because I won't be using mana, so I wouldn't be gaining any health back. But other than that, I mean, it's fairly easy to farm this stuff up, and yeah, I'm gonna have to see if I can throw some clips up. Oh, I probably should show that too. No, not the foundry. I want to show the Kavat, the charm ability, so 28% chance of getting a buff. And the buff is like this 2-minute buff. It's pair little Kavat in the corner will say, "Hey, you got the double bonus." So every time you pick something up, instead of getting 1, you'd get 2, and if you had the double resource booster, you'd be getting 4. And this pet's amazing for Kuva farming and other things that revolve around resources. But yeah, that's my suggestion: is if you want to farm it for quantity, you go mobile defense. But if you want to do it for efficiency, as far as like platinum and like growing your character, you're gonna look at the exterminate and captures and grab a key. You could try the survivals and defenses and sabotages, but I'm kind of it's not for me, and I'm pretty set on that mobile defense is the way to go.